Stop trying to convince other people that they were wrong. They know that they were wrong. They know that what they did was wrong. They just don't care enough about you to do anything about it. This is the title of this video. I realized that for so long, I've been haggling my worth. After a conversation I had with my sister this afternoon, I realized that I've always been trying to convince people that what they did was wrong. They committed a particular offense. They know that it was wrong. And I spend my entire life trying to convince these people that what they did was wrong. And I keep on trying to elicit an apology out of people and make them sorry and make them say and do things and feel things that they really don't feel. And I realize, this is a trauma response. When you grow up with caretakers who are abusive, who don't take accountability or responsibility for their poor behavior, you spend your life trying to convince them as a way to maintain the relationship. You realize that in some way, shape, or form you are a child and that you need these adults in order to survive. And so in your mind, you try your best to negotiate that relationship and maintain that relationship by oftentimes engaging in a denial system and also begging behaviors, begging them to take accountability, begging them to care, so that way you have someone to love you, so that way you have someone to take care of you. It's a complicated relationship, but as a young child, you need their love, their support. And so you find yourself, as a way of maintaining your love for them and protecting your love for them, you end up excusing poor behavior and also begging them to love you and begging them to take accountability. And this shows up in adulthood. This type of behavior, it shows up in adulthood. You start to notice this dynamic with friends, with other family members, with your partners. You start to realize that, wait a minute, I'm begging somebody to take accountability. I am trying to get through to them. You're committed. I'm gonna get through to them. They're gonna see things my way. They're gonna see things how I see them. They're gonna take accountability. I'm gonna scream it into them. I'm going to rationalize it into them. I'm going to intellectualize it into them. They're gonna see where I'm coming from. And the reality is, no, they're not. They don't have the emotional capacity. They don't have the capacity to see where you are coming from because they are emotionally immature. They are affectively stunted. They suffer from arrested development. They have operated from a denial system that is so strong that they cannot see past their own issues. They can't see anything, in fact. They're just blind to your feelings. And so you keep on trying to get through to them. You keep on trying to convince them that what they're doing is hurtful and harmful and not acceptable, but they don't get it. And the thing about it, in adulthood, you have to realize that sometimes distance is your salvation. Distance is necessary. Distance is your answer. They're never going to get it. That's the reality. And whether they get it or not, it's irrelevant to you. Because in the moment when you need them to get it, they just don't get it. And in that moment, you need them to understand just how much their behavior hurts you, how much it bothers you, how much it really damages the relationship, but they just don't get it. They don't get it. And in that moment, you have to make a decision. Will I continue to beat my head up against a wall, trying my best to get them to get it? Or will I actually take the necessary steps and get the hell out of there? I choose choice B. take the necessary steps and get the hell out of there, because they're not going to get it. And all you're going to end up doing is wasting your time, energy, and just expending energy that could be used towards dealing with people who do get it, and making alliances and friendships with people who do understand you and who want to love and want to care about you. But you're so busy trying to petition, beat down someone's door, beg them to love you, beg them to see you, beg them to care for you. Stop begging people to care about you. Stop. They either do or they don't. They either will or they won't. Either way, it's inconsequential because your life demands. This is not a desire. It demands your presence. It demands you setting boundaries. And one of those boundaries are to stop allowing people who don't care and who are not committed to understanding you into your circle. Stop trying to convince other people that you are someone who is worthy to love. You are worthy to love. I'm here to tell you right now, if only we could really lean into our own worthiness and recognize that we are worthy of the love that we give everybody else. We've always been worthy. But due to past childhood conditioning and due to past traumas, we have been talked out of our worth. We have been lied to, severely lied to, about our worth and what we deserve. We let another person dictate our worth. We let them add a price tag to us and determine our worth. The thing about it is this: as you mature, you realize that your price goes up. You realize that for so long you've been selling yourself cheap. You realize that you put yourself in the bargain bin. You've put yourself as the thrift. You basically have just always hawked your wares in cheap places. You didn't know your worth. You didn't know at the time how much you were worth and how valuable you are. But then there comes a moment when the light bulb turns on and you start to realize your worth. You start to realize that now I've been selling myself cheap. I've been dealing with people who don't deserve me. I've been trying to beg and convince them that I'm somebody who's worthy of love. I've been scratching at the glass and at the door, begging to come into their lives, like a lost dog, like a lost, sick, sad puppy. I'm just whimpering and hollering, begging to be included in their lives, in their circles, in their tribes. When all along, I didn't belong in those spaces because my worth was too much. I was worth too much to ever fit into these petty places. And then you start realizing, what behaviors do I continue to engage in that undermine the truth of my worth? Do I continue to engage in these begging behaviors, begging for acceptance, begging for love, begging for reassurance, begging for validation? So many of us are out here begging other people for validation when the validation is already here. You are here. You're valid. Stop begging. Begging no longer necessary. Maybe you begged as a child because you had to, because there was no other adult who could care for you. You were a child. But at the same time, it's time to stop begging. Stop begging other people to see you. Stop begging other people to love you. You deserve the love, care, and concern that you give to everybody else. And you've got to recognize that. You've got to realize that. And when you realize that, you stop. You stop because you're already self-sufficient. You are already a self-cleaning machine. You are already full with yourself. So stop begging other people for love and support. Stop begging other people to take accountability for their poor behaviors. They're not going to take accountability. A lot of people lack awareness. And they're not necessarily bad people per se, but they lack awareness. They lack the awareness that you need, to be honest. Matter of fact, they lack the awareness that they need in order to offer that care, that concern, that empathy. They lack the awareness. And so once again, that's their journey. That's inconsequential to your journey. You have to stay focused on your journey. And your journey requires you to actually get up, move away from any space that doesn't honor you. You got to. And so, stop negotiating your worth. Stop haggling your worth with people who are worthless. Begin to take the necessary steps to get the love that you deserve. And how do you do that? By becoming that love yourself. By not allowing anybody to convince you that you are not worth it. And anybody that tries to convince you, recognize them as trash and recognize them as wounded souls who really do not care about themselves. And you distance yourself. Stay away from them because you don't need to be a part of that circle. You don't need that. There are a lot of people in this world, I'm here to tell you, that are very jealous of you. They're jealous of your greatness. They're jealous of your talents. They're jealous of your abilities. They're jealous. And so you have to avoid the haters. You have to stop trying to fit in. Stop trying to fit in with these petty people and their insecurities. Stop tailoring your actions to fit into their insecurities. Don't do that. Live big, be big, breathe big, live your life and take up space. Now is the time we take up space here. And whoever don't like it, oh well, that's their problem. You stay focused on what you need to do because your life demands your presence. Your life is a gift that demands your presence. Be here. If you're going to be here, be present. Do not shrink. Do not ever shrink. Do not ever negotiate your worth or haggle your worth or beg, please, please, see things my way, see things from my perspective. No. No. Because half the times when you do that, people love it. They love to see you beg and grovel because it makes them feel superior. It feeds into the delusions of grandeur. So stop begging other people. Just pick up and do you. Find those spaces that water your greatness. I love y'all. Thank y'all for listening. This is Lewis Speaks. Peace.